call this meeting of the Development Review Board to order. It is 7:05. Sorry about that. On January 18th, excuse me. This is a meeting where we only have 4 people, and it requires 4 votes of our board to pass an application, and there are a couple of ways we deal with this. One is that we have people, this is being video recorded for BCTV, we have people who are not here and can't ask questions, but could watch a video and then vote on it. And in situations such as these, we also are liberal about granting a continuance so that the full board can hear an application. Are all of our applicants here tonight? Let's start with Ms. Brickett. McDonald's?
Yeah, we're here.
Do you know if you want to, I don't mean to spring this on you, but do you know how you'd like to proceed? You want me to come back to you? I can ask the other folks too.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to proceed. I don't know if we can get a feeling about if there's going to be 4 positive votes, and towards the end of the presentation, and then continue, or
Yeah, we'll be up front with you, and not just take the vote and have that be like the final.
okay.
This is
All right,
it.
then we're good. We're good to go then.
And I'll commit our people to watching video review who are not here.
Okay.
You remember to email around about that if this doesn't get an issue.
Yes.
Ms. Bellville?
Yes.
Hello. Do you know if you want to continue to go forward tonight?
Yes.
You do? Okay. And New England Youth Theater, whoever's here? Go forward? Okay, good. So every development review board, I give some opening remarks. I know a few of you have been here a few times, so please bear with me. At the DRB, we hear applications for land development in the town of Brattleboro and appeals of zoning administrative decisions. Procedurally, the Development Review Board operates on the record. What that means is that we take a record of testimony from the applicant and any interested parties, and then we issue a written decision with our findings. Applicants and members of the public should be aware that because we're on the record, this is your only chance to comment on or provide evidence related to an application. If our decision is appealed to the environmental court, the only thing the environmental court can consider is what's on the record tonight. So if you have something you want to say about an application, I strongly urge that you do it tonight because it will be your last chance. As we're on the record, we ask that anybody who has even a tiny percentage chance of speaking be sworn, because this is testimony and this is a hearing, and that's why a court can use it down the road if there's an appeal. So if everybody who thinks there's even a small chance they might talk could raise their right hand, I'm going to swear you in, okay? Do you hereby swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give and the cause under consideration will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury? Okay. Applicants require a majority vote of the full board to succeed. That means 4 votes. Now, obviously, we only have 4 people here. For all of the other applicants, including the McDonald's applicants, I think it's appropriate and helpful if we'll give you a weather report if there's an issue, and if you feel that you want to try to wait a month and try to get more votes, or wait to see what the people who review this on video do, we will grant you some leeway with that. And we apologize for having kind of a half-speed board here. After taking testimony, the board will close the hearing and may vote on your application. The board will issue a written decision within 45 days of the close of the hearing. While we may vote on an application in the hearing, it is the issuance of the written decision that controls the time for appeal. The town of Brattleboro is a party with interest in land development applications. The town has no special status before this board. Documents provided to our board by the town planning department, the town attorney, or any other member of the town are treated the same way as information from the applicants and interested parties. Mr. Bannon, has our meeting been warned?
Yes, it has.
Okay, first item is to review and approve the minutes of our meeting of December 19th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0. Brian, is there some other thing to do before we get to the first application?
Any ex parte or conflicts?
No, I didn't mean that. There's an agenda item that I don't quite understand.
So,
Well, that's all right. Are there any? Yeah, we'll deal with that after we deal with the applications. Are there any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest that the parties wish to disclose?
No.
Okay. I think Miss Bellville was the mortgagor on my office up until a couple of years ago, and there's no, oh no, that's not even correct. It was with Mr. Costello, my partner. I don't view that as conflict. I'm not even sure if that's correct, frankly. I may mix you up with one of the other realtors. In any event, there's no direct conflict there. So we'll move right on ahead to application 2016-201, McDonald's Corporation. And I don't know if you've been here before, but if you could try to put your visuals up so that we can see it, but so the camera can also capture it, please.
Okay.
There you go.
You guys see him or?
No.
Just a little more.
Okay.
Is that all right?
good, yeah, thanks.
All right, I'm Owen Spoolstrom with Bowler Engineering. I'm here to represent McDonald's, and they're looking to redevelop their site at Putney Road, 1027 Putney Road. Here's an aerial photo of the current McDonald's. It's been there about 40 years. So again, the current McDonald's, counterclockwise circulation that is typical of a drive-through service restaurant. It has one entrance, full service entrance exit to Putney Road. We're going to modify that slightly, but it's going to stay in the same general location. I'll pull up the site plan. This is just a colored, rendered version of what was submitted as page C1 in the application documents. Again, the McDonald's building is going to be in the same general location. The exit entrance is going to be the same general location. McDonald's is proposing to repave the parking lot. We're going to provide ADA compliant parking spaces, ADA compliant walk, a new walkway, sidewalk along Putney Road with an ADA connection to that pedestrian way from the McDonald's. McDonald's fully ADA compliant sidewalks and ramps to the building. A newer feature to McDonald's is the side-by-side drive-through, where there's actually two entrance points to the drive-through and 2 points of ordering at the drive-through, so the two cars can enter and they merge together into one lane to the pay window and to where they would pick up their food. Again, we're proposing new landscaping throughout the site. We put some islands in to comply with the town's requirement of no more than 10 spaces in a row before an 8-foot island. We're gonna demolish the existing dumpster and place a new dumpster a little bit further back towards the property line, in line with the new curb line along the northern part of the site. The new McDonald's is a little bit more sophisticated than the old McDonald's. Gone is the double mansard roof and lighted roof beams. This is a cleaner look. It's brick face with some stone accents. Signage is shown. So this would be the front and drive-through or left-hand side of the building. This shows another perspective, more looking from the right side of the building. So this would be the main entrance from the parking area and the front of the building. We reduced impervious coverage from the existing site, about 1,000 square feet. So about 4 parking spaces worth of impervious surface. So we have more green space in the site. McDonald's is excited about the project. We're looking forward to getting a new facility up and running here. And we'd like to start, springtime, as soon as we get some good weather. And, I'm here to answer any questions the board may have. We have some representatives of McDonald's franchisee and the restaurant here. So we can answer any questions you might have.
What is the height of the building?
We have revised elevations, and it's 24 feet now. We got so the up to the front cornice here is 24 feet. This area that's up a little higher, which is this area on the right side of the building, would be about 25 feet.
So that, can you put that up?
Sure.
So that top part above that arch
Yep,
is
there's
24 feet?
24 feet, yes.
How do you ensure that the parking circulation is going to work with the new drive-through arrangement?
Well, the drive-through arrangement, the new drive-through arrangement has been, I started rolling that out about 10 years ago. And it's really improved efficiency at the site that we've seen.
I'm particularly thinking about the spaces that are to the east of the dumpster.
These dumpsters?
Yeah, if those guys are backing out.
Yeah. Well, we have the standard 18, actually we have a little bit more than 18 feet, which is standard for a 60-degree parking stall. So even with the car here, there should be ample room, unless, they got a box truck or something, there should be ample room for a typical car to back out and still traverse the site.
Do you see those 2 spaces that you pointed to first next to the handicap spaces? Do you see them being impeded by traffic lined up to?
In a very busy situation, maybe. Typically we see them, doesn't seem to back up much beyond this location. The great thing about the new layout is now we have room for about 5 or 6 cars to stack in here before getting out to this location. And then have probably about another 4 or 5 cars in this area. So we've added room for cars to stack in the queue lane just by adding this outer lane. Plus, there's a deficiency in there. You see, if, say I got my big van here with 6 kids in it, and, they want a chicken McNugget, no, I want a cheeseburger, and, Mr. Coffee, when Coffee is out in this thing, he can actually, while I'm fidgeting with these people and my kids, he might get in front of me. So there's the efficiencies built into this double drive-through that really helps move cars through it faster, and we really think it'll cut down with any of those conflicts.
Is there a designated area where the employees park, and is there a sort of pull-off? I know sometimes if somebody's got a drive-through order that's clogging things up, they send them away a little bit.
Yeah. We showed them up here, but that might be a little bit further. Typically they end up in this area for a drive-through hold space, so to speak.
And those will be designated as it is now?
Yeah, there's also on this building, there's a third window. So you would pay at this window, pick up your food at this window, and if for some reason, you had a order that was taking a little longer, they could move you up to this window, and that window is only used in those situations.
I see.
And there's enough room that there's a car here, and he gets his coffee, and he wants to go out, he could go around that car.
That's clever.
Yeah.
As I understand it, there's a requirement that 2 electric charging spaces are required. I don't think under the statute we have the authority to waive it.
Okay.
Now, what is the level that these have to be?
We don't specify that, but to be useful, it would probably have to be a class 2.
Okay. So I think we have to incorporate that into our order, or we're not following the state statute.
Okay. That's a state law?
Yeah.
We had discussed
Sorry,
it.
town ordinance,
Yeah.
whatever.
We saw in, in the comment letter that we got from the town, and we're prepared to provide
Okay.
that as a condition.
Do you know where they would be at, or is it a little early for that?
It'd be a little early, I assume somewhere maybe in this area to be still somewhat useful, or somewhat up front, but also, having a car charger along this sidewalk might be an ADA issue, a barrier issue. So
Sure.
having something out in this area work, or maybe up in this area.
Can you talk about the landscaping that's designed to provide shade in the parking lot?
We added some trees in this area. I know that was one of the comments.
Yeah.
We had lights in these islands. That was one reason we didn't add trees here or here. But it's definitely something we can review.
Is there any
Tree.
possibility that the islands, or the, whatever you would call that, triangular shape in the corner could be slightly enlarged to accommodate shade trees?
I believe there's a possibility of that.
I mean, is one place better than the other, I guess is what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, we could add a shade tree here and a shade tree here, and maybe move this light pole over a little bit and provide the same service
Right, and on the other side.
here
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Is there a term of art for those? It's not really an island, it's kind of like a peninsula.
We'll call it peninsula. I read your ordinance a couple times. I forget what they actually landscaped peninsula.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you talk about the height of the lighting poles?
Lighting poles are 21 feet high.
And you saw the note that there was a question as to whether the lights were upward facing or downward facing or both. Can you clarify that?
On the building, there was a question about the sconces
The
on the building.
sconces.
Yeah. Typically, the light on the building, there are some, the sconces that provide, these sconces that provide lighting on the sidewalk are downward facing. The older buildings had some upward facing lights, but I'm not sure that that's still the case. But they used to have some lighting that flooded, it was just more like an accent light. It wasn't really meant to be bright or anything like that. It was more kind of like what you'd see when somebody would put a spotlight in the front of their house to show
Right.
the wreath or whatever.
But you don't think that this has that incorporated?
I don't believe it does.
So this is 24 hours, right?
Yes. We would like the ability to, if we wanted to operate 24 hours. They might be able to speak more to that.
It will be 24 hours. My name's Bob McDougal, I'm with the athlete, working part of the license.
Go over there
Go over here.
to the,
It's just so the people at home can hear
Sure,
you.
I got you. So, we anticipate, once we tear down the old building and reopen the new building, that it will be a 24-hour restaurant. At this point in time, I'm not sure whether it's gonna be just drive-through only, or whether we would keep the entire restaurant open. That's a business decision we'll have to make at that point, but it will be 24 hours.
Where do you put the snow? Or do you have it trucked?
Usually, Owen, did you want to address that?
Oh, yes.
Snow?
Snow, there's some green areas that can hold some snow. Of course, you know, it's just, these fast food sites are, McDonald's sites are sometimes space limited, of course.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with an existing lot. There's some green space here, green space here. And, you know, in the case of a real snowy winter, you know, sometimes it does get hauled off.
Okay.
Are you gonna have playground equipment?
Not at this site, no.
How about bike?
Yep, we got a bike rack out front. We provided that.
What's your provision for product delivery? Is it a box truck that comes in?
It's a tractor trailer. Comes
Tractor
about
trailer,
twice.
so
Yeah, a
how
tractor.
do you accommodate that?
They, the longest delivery is about an hour. They would cone off some parking spaces. So some parking spaces typically try to do it off peak. And some parking spaces would be coned off and the truck would come in and, you know,
So they park off to the side
Yeah.
and hand truck takes it over?
yeah, hand truck. It's actually a motorized pallet jack, so they can wheel it right over to a ramp. This ramp is actually more of a delivery ramp than anything else. It is ADA compliant, but it'll be able to get to these back delivery doors, one for the cooler and one's into the storage area of the facility.
So does that happen late at night generally?
Right now, we have 2 deliveries. We have 9:30 on Monday morning, and we have 9:30 Friday morning. And with the pallet jacks and pallet deliveries, they actually go right into the freezer, drop the pallet, go right into the walk-in refrigerator, drop the pallet, go back into the slack room, drop the pallet. So it depends how big the delivery is, but it could be as short as 20 minutes, could be as long as 45 minutes.
And with this layout, there will still be room for a vehicle to pass?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No.
Just remarking on the efficiency?
Yeah, seems pretty quick, yeah.
What's your sight line coming out on Putney Road with the shrubbery there?
I don't think there's any issue. The tree, you know, these will be low-lying shrubs. The tree is a typical tree. It would have, when planted, a 3-inch caliper or 3-inch diameter trunk. So I don't know that there would be an issue with sight vision or sight distance at this facility. I haven't heard of any issues from the site now.
So you're gonna have 2 trees on Putney Road?
No, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All over there.
Yeah. Along with some that are staying. There's some I believe we're trying to keep.
And I saw you're gonna put the sidewalk all the way across.
Yes.
What's the little, call it the blurb in the sidewalk? I was looking at that the other day.
There is a catch basin.
Okay, I was just curious what
Yeah.
it was. I was like,
You know, trying to avoid some existing utilities.
okay.
Kind of whimsical. Well, any other questions from members of the board? Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application? Okay. So, in my view, the application has got to have the charging spaces, some shading trees on the 2 southern and 1 northern peninsula, downward facing sconces. Anybody got any other conditions that they think I'm missing?
You have the chart.
I said that. If I didn't say that, I meant that.
Okay.
Listen to what I mean, right?
So the pole lights will be downward facing?
Yes.
That's already divided, right?
Yes, yeah, they are fully, downward facing. They're LED. I think all the lights on site are LED now, and the new buildings come with all LED lights.
Okay, so having that in mind, if everybody agrees, I'll have a motion to approve the application with 2 electric vehicle charging spaces, which can be at the applicant's, the applicant can decide where they go. Shade trees on the 2 southern peninsulas and the 1 northern peninsula, and downward casting sconces as conditions.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a nice night.
You too.
Okay, the next application is 2016-197, Ms. Bellville. I'm sorry for confusing you with somebody else before.
I have an additional document I'd like to share with you.
Sure. Thank you.
Ms. Bellville, can you just give me 1 second?
Sure.
Sorry. Okay, can you please tell us about your project?
Okay, I currently own a building at 235 Canal Street. It's a single-family dwelling. It's zoned, sorry, I always get a little confused on the zoning. It's an MU, multiple use. It's got 3 finished stories, and what I'm looking to do is to convert it from a single family to a boarding house situation with a maximum of 6 bedrooms plus a property manager's quarters and a maximum of 8 residents. I'm sorry, I have 8 tenants plus a single person manager.
Okay. And there would be no more than 2 adults in each room?
That's correct. I have configured 2 rooms for 2 people each, 2 rooms with single, and then when I finish the 3rd story, it'll be 2 people in 2 rooms on the 3rd floor.
And the rental period will be not less than 30 days?
That's correct. They have a month-to-month occupancy agreement with me.
And this is kind of a silly question, but you're not providing meals to the public from this facility?
No. They fix their own meals.
Okay. Now, what's the parking, how are you going to make the parking situation work?
99% of the people that I rent to don't own vehicles and/or they're not allowed to drive. So there will be no parking on the site. However, at the moment, my plan is to potentially move in there to get everything squared around. I do have a vehicle. I will park in the driveway. and a portion of the carport, which is designated for some of the tenants' outdoor space.
Okay.
They
And that's the
smoke.
driveway you put by hand there?
Yes.
Is that, can you help me imagine how big that is?
I'm sorry, the driveway?
Yeah, like, does it just fit a single car, fit a couple cars end to end?
No, you really can't get away with an end-to-end unless you get pretty far into the garage without impeding on the sidewalk.
Side to side?
No.
Okay. So you're gonna have some sort of signage there to make that clear?
Yes, I will make sure and have signage, no parking.
What about the manager? The resident manager's not gonna be allowed to have a car?
99% of, the resident manager would be one of the people that I would be renting to, and he's somebody that I trust. I already have a person in mind. But because of some developments around what's going on there now, I feel I need to be in the building to get control of some of the items that need to be taken care of. But he doesn't have a vehicle and he can't drive.
He won't be the manager forever though, right?
He's been with me now for 4 years. I don't expect that he's going to leave anytime soon.
But should you get a manager that has a vehicle at some point in the future, where will they park?
They would have to park in municipal parking. It will be made clear to them that they can't have a vehicle on site.
What's the nearest municipal?
That would be the parking garage.
So they would be required to park there as opposed to on the street.
On the street parking, Canal Street, I don't believe allows overnight parking at any time. So they can park there during the day, but no overnight parking. I don't know what time that kicks in the evening, but there's, as I understand it, there's no overnight parking on Canal Street.
Looking at the plot of the property, it says to the right of the carport, there's an 8-foot space to the property line.
Yeah, it's about just an 8-foot grassy space.
8 foot?
On the side?
The only reason I'm asking this is, years ago, I remember hearing the deceased property owner saying that the carport right wall was on his property.
No, it's not. It's gone through 3 sales since that complaint was issued, and there
Okay.
was never any title issues around the property
Okay.
line.
Just curious.
Yeah.
You just offered an exhibit, the fire prevention inspection results.
Right.
Do you have in mind whether any of these are not possible?
No, I've already addressed the boiler issue. That's all been fixed.
Okay.
The only thing I haven't done is put a new cover on the breaker box that was mentioned. There is a cover currently on it, but it's not adequate. It's an older panel box, so it's going to take some research to find the appropriate replacement type. The other items are all having to do with the 3rd floor, which is not occupiable at the moment because it's not up to code. And I have some other work I need to do up there. And again, the permit, if I get the permit, that 3rd floor wouldn't be utilized until I get all of those items corrected. Brian Johnson, the state inspector, he would be coming back down to monitor the work as it's being done and then sign off on it when it's complete that it's up to state standards.
I'm just wondering about that 8 feet to the property line.
Yep.
When I looked at it, it looked like there were tires piled in there. And it looked like
Yes.
about the width of, 1.5 tires.
I don't believe so. There are tires piled back there from the garage.
Right.
It's nothing that I've done. I haven't fought
No,
on
I'm not
it.
concerned with the tires.
Okay.
I'm just thinking it's a lot less than 8 feet. And And I wondered about the 10 feet on the other side too.
Well, I
That's
took a
little
tape
further.
measure. I don't know how accurate that is in survey
Yeah.
measurements, but I used a tape measure and went on the low
Should be
side.
fine. So you've had the fire department look at it, but I have real concern, I guess, personally, about a boarding house with just no, one means of egress from the second, especially the third floor.
That's one of the reasons why I can't put anybody on the third floor, and the state didn't approve third floor occupancy, was because it has to have a balcony off of the bedroom window area, so that has to be constructed separately. I also had a concern myself that the window that's currently there is large enough to meet state standards for an egress. Both of those items would need to be dealt with before there's any third floor occupancy. On the second floor, all of the windows meet egress requirements, and then there's also the deck that is off of two of the rooms, which would provide an egress also. And every single room has smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, as does the hallways. I've already put them in the third floor just because it is space that should be monitored for fire and carbon monoxide issues. The basement has one also. They're all hardwired smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in every single room, and except the bathrooms. I didn't put them in the bathrooms. I probably want to add also that I have a pretty specific client base that I rent to. Most of the people are on probation and parole or have substance abuse issues. This is an opportunity for them to get a fresh start, to rebuild their rental history, as well as get a job and, just turn their lives around. That's what I do with my other two buildings.
So do you have two other rooming houses, I guess?
No, one of them is my office. There's an apartment upstairs. And then I have a 3-unit apartment building on Central Street. And I rent to the same type of people in those units.
Well, I've had some experience living in rooming houses, and I quite honestly have some concerns.
Okay.
And a lot of it revolves around just really good supervision.
Yes.
That's, there's a lot of differences of opinions that come up. And I am kind of concerned that apparently they can't lock their doors.
Yes, they can.
Oh, they can? I thought I read in here you couldn't have locks.
Oh, no, they each have their own deadbolt lock on their rooms.
Okay, good.
So they can secure their property. I'm kind of a fanatic about security. I've installed security cameras on the exterior of the building.
I noticed that.
And the door that goes into the house has to remain locked when people are coming and going, because I don't want strangers or other people walking in and people assuming, the residents assuming that they are there to see somebody specifically, and then find out that they're not there and, cause some chaos. I'm a very hands-on landlord. I'm in my buildings a lot. I monitor behaviors and condition issues a lot. I'm pretty careful.
And I assume there's going to be quite a bit of time when the person that is the manager of the operation is not there.
Let's see, Rob works the evening shift right now. at a store on Upper Canal Street, or Lower Canal, up by Exit 1. He's my target manager to move in there. I have a great deal of trust in him. I don't foresee that being an issue. What I have asked him to do is to make sure that the place stays clean and safe, and any maintenance issues that need to be addressed to contact me immediately, so that I can address them. And any other behavioral issues are either covered with the occupancy agreement that each occupant signs, and I can deal with it myself with them directly. I prefer to deal with them directly. I always have conversations with them about my expectations, about how they behave in the property, and I have a low tolerance for issues that one person may be causing chaos in the building, that one person, if the others feel that they just plain can't get along with that person will be asked to leave.
I should probably note that although I have some experience with Miss Bellville and she's very responsible, we're getting into stuff that's beyond our jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's
Even if she was a totally incompetent supervisor,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
what happens in the house, if it conforms on the other stuff, that's a policy decision above our heads, or police action also above our heads.
I guess I knew that. Thank you.
No, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with the rooming houses, because particularly lately, I think, there's a rooming house right by my house that's a drug house. And it's obviously something we're all concerned about, but we can't stray from enforcing the land use regulations.
I have very few issues in my other buildings now that we have a basic understanding.
I don't mean to suggest you do.
No, I know, I
just-
understand.
I want to be mindful of our limits here.
Okay.
Further questions? Anything from the public? No? Okay. You know what? I swore you in, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the only condition I think that we're going to have is no more than 2 adults in each room, continuous period, 30 days for the rentals.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say no meals provided for the general public. I know it's silly, I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
You can't be serving meals to the general
right,
public.
right,
You
no.
can't have like a side restaurant set up in there.
No.
And a waiver for the a waiver for the parking minimum, which is it 2 for 1? 2 spots for one apartment up there?
I forget exactly what the ratio is.
It's either 2
No,
for 1
two
or
and
1
two
for
and
2.
one per room.
2 for 1 room,
No,
1 for 2 rooms.
2 initially and 1
Oh,
per room.
okay. Well, anyway, that's the parking requirement, and if we're okay with it, we've got to waive that to approve this application.
I have to say, I don't feel comfortable waiving the parking requirement. I mean, I really am concerned that at some point you will have a manager that will need to have a parking space. I know you say that this guy's going to be there for a while, but I think there ought to be some provision for at least 1 car in the driveway.
Is that not workable for some reason?
No, I can allow 1 car in the driveway.
Okay.
Um,
Would that satisfy you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, of course, you don't have to use it, but if the driveway would have to be open to that if
Yeah,
necessary.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So a waiver of the parking requirement, provided that the driveway be an option for the building manager.
Okay.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
That's what you want?
Yes.
Okay. And then with those other conditions that I just said, can we have a motion?
So move.
No, second. Second.
Was that a second?
That's a second.
Any further discussion?
Just give me a couple seconds to think through this.
Sure.
If there's an ambiguity, we should allow the other members to review the video and
Yeah, I mean, we can wait for the video review if you don't want to do the vote now.
I think I'm okay with it.
With going forward? Okay. So all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the application passes 4-0. Ms. Bellville, thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate your confidence.
Well, with all my comments, that sort of thing is badly needed in Brattleboro. I realize that.
If you'd like to come tour the building, it's available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the circus brought us a juggler. Did you guys bring us something, or? No? Well, the juggler dropped the balls a bunch of times, so maybe it's good about it. Okay, New England Youth Theater application 2016-200. Come on up. I really hope that juggler isn't watching DCTV right now.
He was nervous, come on.
No, I know. You gave it his all. It was very.
Facing all the lights.
It was a
So
hard.
now I know that building was a livery stable at one time. I always wondered what the hell it was
Thank
there
you.
for.
One of my favorite buildings.
Yep. I always thought the guy next door did also.
Yeah, so did I.
This has been photoshopped to make it look better.
It looks better, come on.
You guys demolish all my favorite buildings.
Was this part of, is that Tri-State Automotive that was there? This was
Yes.
part of it too?
Yep, the Tri-State building was the brick building.
Yeah.
And the livery building was used for storage
Okay.
for Tri-State.
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please tell me about your
Start.
project. Tell us.
Good evening. My name's Hamilton Hodgman. I work with Stevens and Associates. I'm here with Tom, our landscape designer, and Naomi representing the owner. She's a lady of many hats. I think this is her. She's the project manager for this for this outdoor amphitheater, mini amphitheater for New England Youth Theater.
Could you turn that just a little bit
Just a little further.
for me?
Yeah.
Not too much, just enough so I can get. Okay, thank you.
Can you still see it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so for the people at home, we have Elm Street and Frost Street and Flat Street. This is the New England Youth Theater campus and all the New England Youth Theater parking and the town parking lot along Elm Street. And New England Youth Theater is, there is an existing, two existing structures that have some significant flood damage that we're going to look to take down and replace with this outdoor amphitheater. And I'll bring, this is the existing site plan that shows, if you see where we're looking at here, the majority of the site sits inside where those two buildings would used to have been. Right now, this is a kind of a brush path with some fencing. New England Youth Theater uses main entrance. They like everybody to come down the marquee and control all the flow of traffic between pedestrians and also between parking to come in to the main entrance. This amphitheater is going to be for additional space. They're not going to increase the programming because of it. They have some programming and they like to break out into different areas, and sometimes you'll see them out here in the middle of the quad. But what we're doing is having tiered seating that will be 3 levels of seating, a 4-foot concrete retaining wall with a ornamental Ameristar type fence, if you wanted to imagine a fence, above that, and that would provide the security and also provide some. We're trying to keep the entrance this way, but also provide some additional flood protection as far as from surging. If the flood were to carry debris with it. We are going for a site plan review and also conditional use permit because we are inside the flood zone. This project by itself will be a net cut in when you consider the building as part of the flood storage. It doesn't exist, and so the only aspect to this that would be conditional use, we understand, is the flood, that we are inside the flood zone. And we have a lot of landscaping features in here. What we're required to provide are the 3 street trees that are here, but considering the use and that we're trying to, the kind of space that we're trying to create, you can see we've filled this up with a lot of landscaping. And although you don't have the grading here, what we have is a very an ADA compliant sidewalk that communicates with this sidewalk, our main sidewalk. And we also have off here in my hands over here your ADA compliant parking that comes down another compliant walk. And once we get in here, this would be a level where although we're going to be in grass, this could be the area where if somebody was in a wheelchair, they would be able to be in this area. This right here will be sloping up. These are granite blocks and seating areas. They're each different tiers. The top of the wall, the concrete wall that retains the earth that will serve as the backdrop for all these different steps is 4 feet tall, so 4 feet. You can imagine the space is enough for you to sit on the stone and have your feet touching the ground in front of you. And then, of course, the center of the amphitheater area. A little bit of drainage. We are reducing the impervious footprint significantly by turning this all into green space. We do have a little bit here that, but it's it's much less than what was there. We are maintaining the drainage as far as like that leaves the site. There is a existing area drain over here. There was an area drain over here that from a campus project when they did this guy a long time ago. This has all been kind of chain fenced and just weeded up and for a while, but we're going to be continuing that and going out our primary discharge. Let's see, other points. We're not increasing any. We're not. Does increase the demand for. We're not. This is an occupancy issue. This is additional space for the existing programming. It's not good for if it. Who knows what the weather will throw at you. We're not using snow storage. This would be covered with snow. And there wouldn't be anybody who'd want to sit out there during the winter anyway. And we're in the urban center. It's a use that complies with the intent of the urban center zoning, providing both amphitheater and performance theater are the approved uses, and there are also uses that don't exist that I know of in the urban center, and so this will add to the diverse the point of having this type of zoning.
Is there still a plan to someday demolish the brick building, or is that kind of?
This guy?
Yeah. I think we approved a permit for that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so that building currently has approval from the State Historic Preservation Office for demolition. There are no current plans
I see.
for doing that work.
Okay.
Again,
Are you using it all?
No,
It's
no,
vacant.
it's completely secured so that no one can enter it. And in 2015, we did the remediation of the soils surrounding the building and any remaining paint on the building so that it's completely safe for people to touch.
But inside, it's very not safe, as I understand it.
and this is also going to have a corrective action plan. A soil remediation project associated with it.
The same thing you did on the parking lot
Same
side.
thing we did out here, I believe, because in the past project, we had a different type of contamination out here than we did over here, where over here we could just put a little, just basically a do not dig membrane down and cover it with a little bit of material. And over here, they did a deep excavation. I'm not sure the specifics of what they have to do here, but it wouldn't surprise me if we had to take out some more material.
How's the electrical going to work?
As far as with the corrective action plan?
No, I'm sorry, I'm changing the subject.
Oh, okay, to the lighting?
There's something out here that's electrified, and I assume you use a conduit to get the power out there. And I guess what I'm wondering is if it floods or if there's rain, how is it protected?
Well, we have some outlets, we have some, not outlets, but the little junction boxes there on the side of the building. We'd come off of those and then go underground to the locations. I believe we submitted two approaches for, in our L1 and L2. And there was, reviewing the comments from the planning department, we noticed that they had a comment about 50, being over 10,000 lumens. We mentioned these two being a 5,700 apiece. We can pick, we can put a dimmer on that. We intend to honor the under 10,000 and just turning it from 5,700 to under 5,000 is very simple.
And part of the issue is that anything over 2,000 lumens has to be fully shielded. Or can these lights be classified as fully shielded?
We intend to do fully shielded.
No problem then.
Fully shielded
Right.
playground.
If it's shielded, do they still have to be under 10,000?
I think
Yes.
that,
They do,
Yes.
okay.
It's a
yeah,
per
if
acre.
if it's over 2,000, you have to fully shield it. If it's under, but you
Oh.
can't go over 10,000.
It shows you what I know. Sorry,
I took it from her.
One more, just one quick follow-up, I'm sorry, Maya. Are the conduits that carry the electrical going to be waterproof and floodproof?
Well, they're going to come out of the ground. They're going to come down from from a junction box that's above flood elevation. And so, I'm not sure if, depending on how we mount these things, I think we'll be below the flood elevation. But whether or not, I don't think that's a flood proofing issue.
It's going to be waterproof?
It won't be, I don't understand I don't think that there would be it could come straight up into fixture, and I think it would be an element of the fixture itself.
I don't quite follow what you're saying, I'm sorry.
Coming up into the, up into the structure, we're not planning on putting like a concrete, the flood elevation is, I'm trying to think where the flood elevation would be. I don't want to come out of the ground with a concrete structure this tall. I believe that would be where we would have to be. We could look into like what we can do to have it completely watertight up to that elevation.
So are there gonna be performances there at night, or just possible classes, or?
Its main use is going to be during the daytime because we
Classroom.
can't, as classes, we can't sell tickets to an outdoor event because we can't guarantee the weather. We hope it will be a space that can be used, especially in the summer when we have so many evening performances. People tend to gather, so there's the chance it would be an informal space for gathering before a performance.
Is this? I'm trying to figure out where the floodplain is.
That's all my questions. Do you guys have any?
From the,
Member of the public? Anything? You don't have
I
to.
have one question.
were you sworn in?
I need to swear, yeah.
Everyone's sworn in?
You gotta swear in.
I have to swear you in. This is technically testimony and we're technically on the record. So what I'm gonna do is ask you to raise your right hand. Do you hereby swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in the cause under consideration will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Okay, if you could go to the mic so that they can hear you on BCTV, please. And just if you could say who you are and where you're from.
So I'm Jeff Hardy. I work for Sossaman Lumber Company. So we own the dry kiln. Just my question is to see what you guys are doing or what we do on our facility interfering with your activities at all. I mean, I haven't heard anything that would suggest that it does, but
Yeah, one of the considerations of the amphitheater was thinking about sound. That hill gets a lot of truck traffic just in general, and we know you're there too. So wanting to cut down any sound, but otherwise, we'll still be within the property. We don't anticipate having it extending or changing our hours of operation in any way.
okay, that's all that I had. So
I should mention, we're the corporate counsel for Sossamo's litigation, and this would be a conflict of interest if you objected to this, but you don't object to this.
not a problem.
Okay, good, thank you.
And we need 4 people here.
I understand. But I mean, I think Mr. Hardy's just trying to be helpful here, and I think the conclusion is what, no Jake break? You can't Jake break in town anyway, right?
I'm supposed to.
Yes, but, yeah, I sometimes hear.
Yeah, tell them on High Street.
Okay, so what I have here is that we approve it with a condition that the sum of the lighting be under 10,000 lumens, that electrical conduits be waterproofed to the maximum extent possible without a significant design alteration. And that's all I've got. Okay?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Great job. It's gonna be nice down there.
You know, Jeff, I saw you come in, I was like, what are you on the board of the, and then I'm like going, yeah.
You know, there are Shakespearean plays out at the Rough Side. And there's one in Oregon where it rains all the time.
Real Vermonters would not ask for a refund, they'd show up to the show. Put that in the brochure. Teach the kids something.
Only in the summer, when the summer rain.
Parents. Okay, I have not moved to adjourn. Brian, I was looking, the thing I was asking about before,
Article, second thing,
the third thing,
third thing.
maybe I was just confused because these were worn so long ago, or maybe it seems like a long time ago.
Any troubles, I don't think.
Were these warned October 12th? Okay. I probably just didn't notice it the first 7 times, and then I saw we wanted to review something from October of 2015, and I thought it was outside our regular schedule. All right. Sorry, I was just a little bit flustered today, a little late. Louis, just move to adjourn.
Getting out?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Joe's doing this thing here?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.